the book Dorish Tov by Rabbi Ephraim Kachlon, my rabbi. He has many, many good stories. And one of the stories is about Rabbi Galinsky. Rabbi Galinsky was one of the top Kiruv rabbis in the world. And he had such a Ahavat Yisrael, such love of Am Yisrael, that it was hard to compete with something like this. Rabbi Galinsky says, I'm from the yeshiva of Novardok. We knew that we had to, in order for us to get Torah, to become part of our life, we knew from our teacher, we must do Mesirut Nefesh. So one day as a young student, I thought to myself, I need to work on my Yirat Shamayim. I need to work on my fear of the Almighty. I learned Torah all day, I learned Gemara, I learned Musar, I learned this, I learned that, but I need to make sure that I have the right amount of fear. And Gemara says, Masechet Brachot, if someone has Yetzirah, say Kriyat Shema. If someone has Yetzirah to make a sin, say Shema Yisrael. Remind yourself there's a God. If that's not enough, learn Torah. Remind yourself what the Torah says. If that's not enough, remind yourself of the day you're going to die. Why? Because you're going to have to pay the bill. So I said, okay, Rabbi Galinsky is saying, let me go prepare myself for the day I'm going to die. What's it going to look like? So I decided I'm going to go to the Bet Kvarot. I'm going to go to the cemetery at night. Now that's already scary. Me, I'm already scared telling the story, thinking about the cemetery at night. And in a Jewish cemetery, there's also a mikveh where they wash the dead bodies. She says, I'm going to go to the cemetery at night and dip in the mikveh where they wash the dead bodies. So Rav Galinsky, young man, middle of the night, he's telling the story. He says, just the wind, the whistling of the wind was terrifying. The whistling of the wind was terrifying, being in a cemetery in the middle of the night. It's so dark. And I see this mikveh and everything is dark and scary. I said, okay, I'm going to take off my clothes really quickly. I'm going to dip and come out. Before I get a heart attack, I'm going to do it really quickly. And this is going to be a memory I'll never forget. Now I'm going to have Yirat Shamayim finally. He takes off his clothes really quickly. He goes into the mikveh. And as soon as he goes into the mikveh, he feels like he's stepping on a body.
Yeah, they're kidding.
He says, from the fear that I had, I passed out. But then I passed out, I fell into the water, and the water, splashed in my face and woke me up. And I got so scared, I started coming out, and the body came out with me. And then I see, it's one of the guys from the yeshiva. And we're looking at each other, both of us scared to death. And then I thought to myself, Yirat Shamayim is not the only thing I have to work on. I also have to work on my ga'ava, my pride. Why my pride? Why did I think that I'm the only one that will have this brilliant idea of going to the cemetery and dipping in the mikveh? Somebody else is also brilliant in the yeshiva, not only me. Us, we think we're already tzaddikim just thinking about it. He went and did it, and he's thinking about I have to work on another midah, another character trait. That's Rav Galinsky. But you see from this story, you have to start getting used to Mesirut Nefesh. You have to start getting used to self-sacrifice. You can't just live a comfortable life, enjoy this world on a regular basis, and think that your Olam HaBa is going to look pretty. It's not realistic. You didn't come to enjoy this world. I'm not saying you came here to be miserable. I'm not saying you're supposed to suffer in some corner as a homeless person. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that you are supposed to get used to making yourself uncomfortable. For the sake of Hashem.